Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank B Choppin', and I'm back with another haircut tutorial. Alright guys, so check it out. This is my boy Trey. He's actually been a long time client of mine. They actually moved out of town, out of state like 2 or 3 years ago, so I actually haven't cut his hair in a good minute. However, he came back in town to visit some family, so his mom scheduled an appointment with me. So I said, you know what, man, we're gonna ice this man out. I'm gonna record it for YouTube, get some footage, you know what I'm saying? And that's basically what we're doing here, guys. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be trimming the top slightly, you know, we're taking a little bit off, and then we're gonna be doing a mid-fade. So let's go ahead and get into it. As you can see, I'm starting off making my first initial guideline on the top of his head, and all I did was start at about the crown area, and I took off about 1/4 of an inch or so, really just a small little trim, and I'm moving forward with that guideline. And every time I bring some hair up, I'm bringing up a little of that previous section or that previous guideline, that way I can see how much to take off. And now that I came all the way forward with it, what I'm doing is I'm coming the opposite way, but I'm coming back, and I'm using that initial guideline that I used coming forward to basically, I'm using that as my guideline to see how much hair I need to take off every time I come up a section. So basically everything that's longer than what I cut, you know, at my initial guideline, anything that's longer than that is getting snipped down, and that's how I make sure all this hair on top is nice and even. So as you can see, I'm going all over the top of the head, and I'm just making sure it's all even, and I'm still following the shape of the head, and yeah, that's basically what I'm doing. I hate explaining when I'm doing shear work because I feel like I don't know how to explain it properly, but I really hope that y'all understand what your boy's trying to say. As you can see, I did go over it a couple times. I just really wanted to make sure that I had it all down to that length and make sure it was all nice and even on top. So I did go over it a couple times, and I did a couple cross checks just to make sure it was all even. And you know, I guess I was being a little nitpicky with it, you know what I'm saying? I was just making sure it was all like perfectly even, and most of the time you don't have to do that because, you know, it's not going to be 100% even anyways, but for whatever reason I was being really extra with this haircut when I trimmed the top. But anyway, as you can see, I got my X Evos in my hand and I'm setting in my guideline, and as you can see, I'm leaving some of that C cup a little dark, that way y'all can see that line when I actually put that line in there with the trimmers. And y'all know how I do it, guys. I like to drop it in the back slightly. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm dropping it in the back just a little bit, not too much. We're not necessarily doing a drop fade, but I do like my fades to be a little lower in the back. And now I'm taking that Gamma Prodigy, and I'm just shaving all this down, getting it all down the skin. That way we get it as short as we can possibly get it, so that it lasts my client as long as it can last them and still look fresh for a longer amount of time. And y'all know how I do it, guys. When I get closer to that initial bald guideline, I start flicking out and relieving some pressure. That way it makes that line easier for me to take out. So it was good catching up with my boy Trey, man. Like I said, it's been about 2 or 3 years since I cut his hair. So we had a good little conversation, man. We were just talking a lot about just, you know, music, you know, back to school, his barber out of town, you know, just a lot of stuff that we hadn't caught up on in a long time, you know what I'm saying? It was good catching up with him. Alright, so now what I'm doing right here is I'm taking my X Ergo, and I got my number 4 guard on my clipper, and I'm basically just debulking the sides, getting this all down to a good length, that way I can actually start my fade work. So now I'm going in with my clipper lever open, no guard, and that makes this a half. And what I'm doing is I'm coming up about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. And that's gonna be this section. And once I'm done with setting in this section, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to fade this section out. So I'm gonna be fading down, meaning I'm going in with my lever all the way open first, then I'm gonna close my lever halfway, come halfway into the section, and then close my lever notch by notch and come down slightly slower every time I close that lever. I hope that makes sense also. I'm trying to explain this pretty good, but I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. So as you can see right there, I just closed my lever halfway, and I'm coming halfway into this section. And then I adjusted my lever 1 notch close, and I'm coming right below that. And then when I close it all the way, I should be attacking that bottom line. And for the most part, that should get this line out. But if it doesn't completely do that, then I will go back in with the trimmer later if needed to make sure I get that line completely taken away. And you're gonna see me, I'm doing a little bit of detail work. I'm just trying to make sure it's all cleaned up before I move on to my next step. And my next step is, what I like to do is, this is actually my number 1 guard, and I have my lever all the way open. So I skipped the 0 guard and I went to the 1 guard, and with my lever all the way open is making it a 1.5, and I'm coming up another section. So this section will be about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. However, as you can tell, I am using a flick out motion, and I'm floating that clipper up and away because his head starts to round pretty quickly. So I want to give him a nice squared look. So I'm not actually pushing that clipper against the head when I come up. I'm making sure I'm floating that clipper up and away. That way we leave a nice, nice symmetrical squared shape when we're setting in this next guideline. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close my clipper all the way and come right below what I did with that clipper open. And I know that's not gonna get this line completely out, and that's fine. I'm gonna go back in with my number 0 guard and attack that line. So here is my 0 guard. My lever is halfway open, and I'm attacking that line that you see right there. And I know with my lever halfway open, it's not gonna take it out completely, so I did just close my lever all the way. And once I start attacking this line, you're gonna see it start to disappear slightly, and it still may not come out 100%, so I will go back in later if needed to detail it some more with probably just my clipper open and try to get away them dark areas, try to take away them dark areas. So here is my 1.5 guard. Lever all the way open, and I'm doing the same thing, guys. I'm coming up slightly, but I am using a flick out motion. And the reason why I'm doing this, like I said earlier, guys, is I want to leave a nice squared shape. I don't want to go too far into the head and make this look too round and too mohawk looking. So I'm making sure I'm floating that clipper out. And even though I started with the lever open, I actually closed my lever, and I'm now coming up right below what I did with that lever all the way open. Still using that flick out motion, still floating that clipper. That way I don't leave any harsh lines. So now this is my number 3 guard, because when I first debulked it, I used a number 4. So this is my number 3. Started with the lever open, and I'm just coming up to that parietal ridge, floating and flicking, and then I'm closing my lever, still trying to take away these dark areas and any lines that I see. And then I know it's not gonna take it out completely, so I'm gonna come back in with my number 2 guard after this step and basically do the same exact thing.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
So that's what I'm doing here. This is my number 2 guard. And like I said, I'm just doing the same thing. I started with my lever open. Now my lever is closed, and I'm cleaning up that section and any dark areas that I see. So now this is my 1.5 guard again. And now basically what I'm doing is I'm detailing any area that I feel needs to be detailed, any lines that I see, any dark areas. I'm just detailing with that number, with that 1.5 guard, and I'm still making sure I'm floating that clipper up and away. That way I don't create any new lines or any dark areas. And if I do, it's no big deal. I can just switch that guard back to that number 2 and just clean it up if needed. And you're gonna see me adjusting my lever a lot now, guys, because this is me doing some detail work, so I will be adjusting my lever, a good amount of time just to make sure I get rid of these dark areas that I see. And this is my number 1 guard now after I use that 1.5 guard. And as you can see, it looks like I'm being a little more careful, and that's just because I'm really trying to be really detailed and really specific with what I'm doing with this guard right here. So this is that number 1 guard closed now, and I'm just, like I said, just trying to be really specific with it. Here is my 0 guard, and as you can see, I am using some corner blending. I'm floating that clipper. I'm just, same thing here, guys. I'm being really specific and really detailed about what I'm doing. That way I clean up this fade and I don't create any other dark spots or any discrepancies. So now I'm going in with no guard, just my lever open, and I will be doing some lever play, adjusting my lever open and close, taking away any dark areas that I see, just trying to clean all this up, that way he has a nice blurry fade. And remember guys, there's more than one way to detail. You can use corner blending, you can tilt your clipper up, like the angle you attack the hair with the clipper actually leaves a longer or a shorter length. So you can do that. You don't necessarily have to switch guards a lot. You can just detail with different techniques of detailing will give not necessarily a different look, but it'll attack it differently, and you can still get the job done good. However you want to do it. You want to flick out, you want to detail, you want to use corner blending, you want to tilt your clipper up. Whatever you want to do, it's gonna work as long as you know what you're doing. But now, as you can see guys, I moved on to the edge up, and I started off in the middle of his forehead, and I set in my first guideline. I worked my way over till I got to that vertical bar, hit that vertical bar, and now I'm hitting that C cup, making sure it's nice and sharp. And see, that's the reason why I left it a little dark in the front of that C cup. That way you can actually see that curve when I put it in there. And now that that lineup is done, I can actually see this fade a little better. I can actually see what's going on, see what needs to be attacked, and I did some more detail work afterwards. So I did not record me doing the opposite side of his head. I did do the same exact thing that I did on the left side, I did on the right side, but I am going on the back now and just showing y'all how I connect both the left side to the right side. You want to make sure it looks all connected. And like I said in my last video guys, I like to do my haircuts in sections. However, you still want to make sure it looks nice and connected, so that's what I'm doing here. I will be following the same steps and doing the same techniques that I did on the left side, so y'all can just follow along. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking because I feel like I'm talking too much, and I don't know, my voice is kind of hurting. So yeah, I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit. But before I be quiet, if you like these tools you see your boy using, this is the X Ergo, the X Evo, and the Gamma Prodigy. Y'all head over to that Gamma Plus website, use my code TANK10 and you'll save yourself some money. Also, if y'all like them illusion capes that y'all be seeing in all my videos, y'all can actually head over to the illusion website and use my code TANK15 and you'll save yourself a little bit of money on those capes also. And make sure y'all give my boy Tito Beats a follow on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm done talking guys, so I'm gonna shut up for a little bit. So now what I'm doing guys, I'm lining up that edge up with the razor. All I'm doing is following exactly what I do with my trimmer with that razor, stretching that skin tight, making sure I keep that blade as flat as I can keep it. That way it lessens the chance of me nicking my client. I don't know man, but to me this fade is looking pretty blurry. Y'all let me know what y'all think so far in the comments guys. Smash that like button if you haven't done so. If y'all have any questions about anything y'all seen your boy doing, make sure to ask them in the comments. Alright guys, so check it out. This is how I left my boy Trey looking. This is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut in the comments guys. If y'all like this video, please make sure to smash that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel, make sure and subscribe one time for your boy. But that's basically it, YouTube. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time, let's go.